part of the Press Play Podcast Network.
Flame on, and welcome back to Podcast 616, the official podcast of Earth 616. I am your host, Damon Royster, and today, happy April, everybody. Nobody asked me to do this, but for the month of April, we are only covering Fantastic Four movies. Fourth month, three movies. It's going to be great. Today, we're kicking it off with the original Fantastic Four from 2005. Fantastic Four, a.k.a. brought to you by Burger King. Okay, thank you. I have two lovely guests joining me. We have a first-timer on the podcast. This person is an actor, a musician, a fantastic drummer.
Wow.
Some of the best drumming I've ever seen in my life. And their name is Mike Aviles. Mike,
Yay. I'm doing well. I'm a mediocre guitar player also.
I never said that.
Little cherry on top.
Beautiful Sunday.
Beautiful
It
Sunday.
is nice. It stopped raining in LA. Come on. This is great.
Yeah.
Love this. Also, my second guest, man, you've heard her talk about the Eternals. You've heard her talk about Ben Affleck's Daredevil, and she's back again. Our first three-time guest. No one's ever been on this podcast three times, except for me and Michael. You are about to hear an actor, writer, director, performer, comedian, podcaster, and lover extraordinaire. Back in your ears, one of my favorite co-hosts, Elizabeth Andrews. What's up,
Hey,
Elizabeth?
baby. Hey, hello.
Hey,
Babies.
hello. She's been smoking today.
I've been smoking all night, so
See, guys.
happy
Elizabeth,
to be here.
How does it feel to do this podcast three times and to do some of the worst movies?
I think we talked about this last at Daredevil, but I was catching on to your patterns here. The movies that you asked me and Jesse Kendall at the time to go watch. And so it really didn't surprise me when you asked me to go in and watch this one. I was like, he's picking his strongest, most mentally strong people to go inside these movies.
Mentally strong guts. I need warriors to get through these, and that's what you.
I I grew up watching the X Games, so I'm locked and loaded, baby.
Hell yeah!
This is basically an X Games movie.
I would agree. There are several scenes where it just becomes X Game coverage.
Yes, X Games and Mountain Dew.
Also, I want to point out, I have the movie playing in the background, and Elizabeth, did you feel the connection that there was another blind character in this movie, just like in Daredevil?
I can't wait to talk about her.
Me too.
We're absolutely going to talk about
I
her.
screamed. I yelped. I audibly yelped. I went, "Is that Kerry Washington?"
Hell
Kerry
yes.
Washington.
Spoiler, sorry.
I mean, I'm going to tell you, Kerry Washington saved this movie for me, and I'm just going to, I'm not afraid to say it.
Yeah.
It's the diversity we needed in this film.
Yeah.
And we didn't deserve.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. This movie. Yeah. Let's go, Mike Aviles, first time on the pod. I got to know, where are you at with superhero movies and obviously specifically Fantastic Four? Like, where are you coming at this?
Man, this movie was wild to watch because, you know, I'm a young boy, grew up in America. I watched Marvel cartoons, every morning. So I'm like, this movie came out when I was a senior in high school. So this was very nostalgic in a very depressing way to watch this movie.
Yeah.
But like, I was prime age for that first Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, I was like, I was probably his age in the movie. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Or no, because he was a senior. So that movie came out, whatever. I was like in 9th or 10th grade. So that movie came out and it was like, boom. It was like, oh my God, you can make good well, at the time, amazing. That movie still holds up. Good movies based on I mean, we've had Batmans and whatever. Spider-Man just like blew my mind because like, I don't remember seeing the Batman movies in the theater. You know what I mean? It was like the first time I felt like fully formed human. And so this movie was like, here we go. Yeah, give me a Fantastic Four movie. This is going to be awesome. And it was, I distinctly remember walking out of the movie going like, that was good, right? We all like that. Everyone thought that was good. Okay. Right.
There was four of them.
And man, yeah. So, but to answer your question, these movies, I wasn't like super obsessed with comic books, but I probably am the classic case of like what helped Marvel make so much money because I was like, yeah, I'm watching all of this. I gotta see it, you know.
Yeah.
And then obviously the Iron Mans and all that. I was like, all right, I'm in.
Oh yeah. And I think you hit on something really accurate that I was going to talk about was that I think based on the success of the Spider-Man movies and also the first two X-Men movies, this is the era of, I'm sorry to trigger you, Elizabeth, Daredevil, Elektra, Fantastic Four, and the Ang Lee's Incredible Hulk movie. Like they're all bad, but I think everyone's trying to chase this Spider-Man dream in the early 2000s.
The first two, and because this was 2005, so when did Spider-Man 3 come out? I don't think the bad Spider-Man had even come out yet.
2007 is when the bad.
See, so we were still all like, yes, these movies are good.
Yeah. Going over to Elizabeth Andrews, I've never talked to you about Fantastic Four before because, spoiler alert, I hate them. How do you feel about Fantastic Four?
Well, I'm gonna let everyone know I watched this movie from the hours of 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. today, and I'm gonna tell you,
wow.
I gotta recommend. I think that's when you should watch this movie.
Yeah,
If I could recommend,
that probably makes sense.
A time frame to be watching this movie. It's
the pre-dawn hours.
Yeah, pre-dawn.
The witching hour.
Yeah, the witching hour. I remember being excited about the Fantastic Four because I love an ensemble.
Oh my gosh.
Baked in, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I felt like, Chris Evans was cracking me up, and the Rock was the banter between
the Rock,
whatever the hell the thing,
the thing.
But he's a rock, right? He's made of rocks.
He becomes a rock, one big rock,
some kind of clay orange rock, yeah.
And why don't we call him the Rock? Why do we have to call him is it because the Rock is already taken franchise wise?
I don't think so. I think when the Fantastic Four was written in the 60s. The Rock was available, but they went with the Thing.
The Thing, yeah.
They really
was there already a thing? The Thing out there back then too, though. You think I feel like the Thing was already a thing.
Yeah,
I feel like there was lots of things. There were lots of the things.
Yeah,
like the Thing.
I thought there was a UFO movie or something. My dad made me watch called The Thing or something. There's multiple movies called The Thing, but
The Thing from Outer Space or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's that was some slang. You know how we're all saying slay now. People
right. The Thing. Yeah. It was established IP in the 60s. I get it.
Any other thoughts about Fantastic Four, Elizabeth?
I think I was into it. I think when it came out in 2005, I was behind it. I think I was like Mike, where it was like when he was like, that was good, right? I was the person behind him going, yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah. Okay, yeah. Was it weird? All the stretchy man finger stuff. That wasn't bad? No, it was cool. Okay.
It was cool.
Yeah, all right. I will say, can I agree with your point on Chris Evans though? Because I was trying to remember the movie before I watched it. I was like, what do I remember? And I was like, okay, stringy hand guy, all the bad rock stuff, I remembered the terrible Dr. Doom. But then I was like, I don't remember having bad memories of Chris Evans. If anything, I remember thinking this guy's great.
Yeah.
And I think it shows obviously where his career went after.
It's so funny because I remember when I saw Chris Evans was casted as Captain America, I was like, what do you mean? Captain America's supposed to be this noble good guy. Chris Evans is the bad boy.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah.
And now watching this, it was like, oh, what is he doing? He's the good guy. And
I had the opposite effect. I was like, oh, right. He was the bad boy. I forgot he was X Games Get the Girls guy.
Oh my God, he really was.
Yeah, he was.
We gotta talk about all of his stunts.
Yeah.
Him jumping out of a helicopter with his nurse. Who never got a name.
Do you know who that actress is?
Maria Menendez.
Maria Menounos.
Menounos.
If you go to the movie theater early, she's the one who hosts those pre-movie trivia things at AMC theaters.
Oh my God.
I had
jumping out of a helicopter to AMC.
Last one down, springs for room service, which I didn't understand that line because that's what she says before she jumps out of the helicopter for the snow scene. Are they at a hotel? But they're at the Von Doom compound.
I gotta tell you,
they're staying at his ski resort.
Mm-hmm.
the edits were bonkers at times. It was like they were outside and then all of a sudden they were inside. I mean,
Mhm.
even the beginning of this film, they get blasted in space and then we
Fully
just
blasted.
decide to be back on Earth.
That's what was crazy, because like since this movie, there's been so many like good space movies, right? Like really like gnarly technology in this, and they just didn't even try to deal with, and we didn't even see a rocket go up. Like they didn't even walk down the platform, put on a seatbelt. We're just in space.
And then we're out of it.
Yeah.
And then we're out of it after a catastrophe.
The screen just goes white, and then we're just we're on Earth. It's fine.
No newsreel. The public isn't concerned with this insane disaster that happened in space.
And talking about
wild.
The beginning of the movie, it just starts with Reed Richards and Michael Chiklis. I forget. He's Michael Chiklis, and they're just like, I guess we're about to go meet Victor Von Doom, and like, there's no prologue, there's no opening image, there's nothing. We're just here we go.
Yeah, which normally is a great thing. Normally we're like, yay, we're right to it, but they really missed the mark at explaining things to us.
They dropped in like one line that they went to college together or something, and it was like, oh, this is why they're so casual.
Yeah,
like I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll walk into my friends from college big offices someday, I'm sure.
A lot of casualness going on.
Yeah. Also, I love the moment in that first scene where Victor Von Doom throws the magazine down and it just says Reed Richards bankrupt. Cover of Wired magazine. You're a failure, Reed.
I thought Wired magazine, though, I was like, oh, okay, this is kind of like they were doing some cool stuff. Wired, because it wasn't like Wall Street Journal or something boring. I mean, this was an edgy movie for the kids.
Edgy.
Edgy.
Well, yeah.
But also, I love that. That's so fucked. How he drops the magazine like, you're bankrupt, Reed Richards, but then like 20 minutes later, his company is like, you're done, Victor Von Doom. We're pulling funding. No, you're also bankrupt. So it's like, you're both broke. Why are you fighting?
You guys should come together.
Two broke bitches.
I did actually have that thought. I was like, oh, they didn't really justify. Well, we'll get to it, but like, this is jumping ahead a little bit, but they didn't justify how evil this guy was. Like, there was no, you know what I mean? Like when he kills that guy in that parking garage,
blasts a hole through him,
right through his chest. We can see his ribs. I was like, oh my God, like we hadn't seen any violence yet. And then all of a sudden a man's chest just got blown through. And it was like pure evil from this guy who's just sort of been kind of mad that this other guy likes his girlfriend the whole time, Yeah.
That's like the only basis that you can go off. So there's nothing to like care about anybody.
Well, they have like bad roommates in college energy. That's about it. Like, why does he hate them?
Dishes. He didn't wash his dishes. That's why they like are mad at each other.
Yeah.
Let's do this because I think I said before we recorded, the plot truly does not matter. Let's go character by character, and we never do this on podcast. Let's start with the villain. Let's start with the one outside of the Fantastic Four, Victor Von Doom. Elizabeth, I see you pulling up your notes.
I'm looking at my notes.
I did take a couple notes actually.
Okay. I barely took any notes.
I had marijuana in my system, and I was like, I got to write some of this down.
Yeah,
girl, I'm gonna be where you are soon. I'll kick us off. So Victor Von Doom, I want to say that this is not what happens in the comics. I apologize to big comic book fans. Thank you for still listening to this podcast. We're fully a movie podcast now. But
very Marvel energy, so it's fine.
Very Marvel. But I feel like Victor Von Doom in the comics, he's from like another country. I want to say like Latvia or something made up or something. And he's like already doing terrorist supervillainy stuff. And
he has like a huge factory, right? And like, he's creating these like metal bot things or something. Am I remembering this right?
Right. And he was not on the spaceship that like his power doesn't come from the same place as the Fantastic Four. So this is a complete rewrite.
That's what I was going to ask. That was what I wanted to ask you, because I was like, this character was like this evil thing off in the distance that Fantastic Four had to come in and like wrangle.
Yeah.
They didn't go to college with him.
No.
Why does Hollywood just muck
Yeah.
everything up.
Come on,
man.
go off. Let
Go
him
off.
Yeah, man.
go on your Hollywood rant. I
Yeah.
was waiting for it.
So Elizabeth Andrews, famously, you did intern at Von Doom Enterprises one summer.
I did, yeah.
What can you tell us about working there?
He likes his coffee hot.
I bet.
And he would
Cheers.
always throw it on me. Burns, scars. It was bad. Never could make it the right temperature for a
I always
metal
wondered
man.
I always wondered why you had those scars. This makes sense.
Yeah. A lot of filing too, if you can believe it. A lot of filing. A whole room floor dedicated to files that said nothing.
Just empty files.
Yeah.
But yeah, do you have any Von Doom thoughts from your notes?
Honestly, the only Von Doom thing I wrote down was when he was like first starting to realize he had powers, and he was like fingering those forks and knives. And he was like, and they were like vibrating, and I was like, this is hilarious. This shot is hilarious. And I wrote down fingering the forks and knives.
Should be doing that. I will say I was happy to see this actor. This is Julian McMahon. I think that's how you say his name. I think most people know him from Nip Tuck, but but I know him as the demon Cole Turner, demon/district attorney Cole Turner, who was on the television show Charmed. I hate Charmed, but he was the best part of Charmed. He was on from season 3 through season 6, and I think it suffered before and after him. That's my hot take. Mike.
Yes.
Dr. Doom, you're pro Dr. Doom. I from my readings on you.
Oh yeah. Big time Dr. Doom guy, specifically in this movie, not
not anywhere else.
Not anywhere else. No. I was just reading. That's why I was like, I thought I did write down a Dr. Doom note, and a lot of these notes were written through talk text, and I didn't look at them afterwards. I just put my phone down. So these are gonna be funny. But this one, I'm going to read them word for word. This one says,
please.
Was Dr. Doom Mr. Hot Philanthropist like rich millionaire Techo before he was Dr. Doom? And I think you answered my question. But I was like, in the comic, I was like, was he Mr. Rich like Elon Musk guy and then became evil or not?
Yeah, like Dr. Doom is like Stalin or Hitler. Like he's basically the Hitler of Marvel. Like he like owns an island and has like an army of people in a castle.
Why didn't they do that?
So
why didn't they do that?
Because have you been to Islands of Adventures in Universal?
I have not.
Islands of Adventure in Universal Studios.
I should be going to that, but I have not.
There's a Dr. Doom ride.
We should go.
We should go. But no,
Producer Michael, you're not invited.
Oh yeah,
sorry,
Michael. Actually,
he's in Florida.
There's only 3 seats on the ride, so there's actually 4, and we could all go. It would be amazing. But it's just that it's a classic like shoot you up in the air ride. What is that called? Like you know what I mean? The square thing. Just goes straight up and then goes. Yeah.
Oh my god. Classic
it's
Doom.
A super fun ride actually, but in the ride you told the like old comic cartoon story. This because like I don't know if you guys know this, but there's a whole Marvel world in Islands of Adventure, and it predates like all these Marvel movies. So they still own the rights to like these rides. So like the Spider-Man ride there, and like they're all like based on like the cartoon energy of Marvel, which is super fun. But all that to say, on the Doctor Doom ride, they were like, you walk through and you're like one of his like creature things he's creating, and you're walking through his factory. And it feels like, and the whole, as a kid, I was like, where are we, like Europe or something? I don't know. And so whatever, I just connected the dots watching this movie. I was like, why is he tech guy? What? I didn't get it.
5, man.
I know.
Well, I mean, this is a great transition to our other character. So I think the big thing they wanted to do was create this love triangle with Dr. Doom and Reed Richards, who I'm going to say, I don't know if I said this on this podcast. I might have said it when we did Doctor Strange, but my least favorite superpower is the stretch ability. I think it's so disgusting to look at, and it's so stupid, and like it's not impenetrable. Like, can't you? I feel like you're just making yourself more of a target to be shot at.
Yeah, you can be ripped apart still.
Yeah,
like you really can if you get down to it. You know, a rubber band's eventually going to give.
Eventually,
he's gonna lose his Oh no.
Elasticity?
Wow.
You did
Thank
watch
you,
this movie at
guys.
4 a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
That's a
Yeah.
hard word to say.
It
We
is.
can all agree.
Yeah. I mean, and that
Elasticity.
Everyone
another
take a turn saying it.
elasticity,
Damn.
elasticities.
Great. All right, you
Elastitties.
covered all of us.
Which again, another reason to hate this character. It makes you say this dumb word.
Yeah.
Mike Aviles.
Yes.
How do you feel about Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic?
Yeah, no, I always hated this character in general, but I actually remember watching this movie and being like, I hate that character. Well, how boring of a character, especially after watching like Spider-Man and seeing all these like awesome villains and stuff in those movies. And I'm like, the doctor guy becomes stretchy, like
Mhm.
that's it. He falls apart sometimes and is sad, and I was just like, and that actor, God bless him, but at the time I just remember thinking like, look at this suave motherfucker, like who cares about this guy, you know? He was too
Truly.
cool for like, you know what I mean? He was like too hot and cool to be this like dorky scientist character,
And
and then he's just stretching and being sad. I was like,
And this is another reason. Also, I don't know if I've made this clear. I dislike the Fantastic Four as even the comic book versions. Like their superpowers are so on the nose for their personalities. Because Reed Richards is the man who stretches himself far too thin. Sue Storm, she feels invisible around people. Johnny Storm, he's a hothead, and Michael Chiklis, he's solid. He's a solid guy.
Yeah.
Elizabeth Andrews, I think you once went on a date with Reed Richards. I'm reading.
Yeah.
What was that like?
He likes his coffee hot, and he would pour it on me too. It was just an absolute nightmare.
this love triangle makes sense.
Yeah. I'm Jessica Alba in this, if anyone's paying attention.
You have her eyes.
Very boring guy. I feel like also because you have Iron Man, who already has the eccentric scientist role. So he's just like kind of playing like such a basic role of a scientist that like it's boring. I'm right there with Mike. Like he really didn't do anything for me. I really had no feeling or thought towards him except when he would stretch and I'd be like, that's hilarious.
Exactly. But like he's Mr. Fantastic of the Fantastic Four. Like he needs to be the most interesting person and he's not.
No feeling.
It felt like Hollywood casting was like, we need an adult man in the room to wrangle this group.
Yes.
Not that they cast or made the character, but like it felt like that. It was like, this is the boss, you know?
Yeah.
And even though he's like, I don't want to be the boss. But it's like, nope, this is the role.
And also he spearheads what makes this movie so boring because the entire time he's like, we can't be superheroes. We have to
he's trying to stop them the whole time.
And it's like, what? I don't need to run experience. You stretch. What more can you do?
That was one of my this is more of a general thought, but I remember watching this movie and being like, this was the pitfall these early movies, I think, had, which was like, let's watch these characters figure out that they're superheroes for 2 hours and not just be like, they're superheroes. You know what I mean? Like, I love a good origin story. Don't get me wrong. But like, I don't want to watch the whole time them like, what's happening to me?
Yes.
You know, it's like, and then we got one fight scene against Doctor Doom at the end. Like, that was it. Not that I'm like, give me all the fight scenes, but like,
But
you know what I mean?
There should be something.
If you're going to a superhero fucking film, there should be like 70,000. I'm sorry.
Like, I don't. There's the scene. There's a scene where they're like having their romantic little talk by the water there on their date.
Like it's a fucking Woody Allen movie.
Yeah, I was like, how long is this scene? I was just like, what do we need this for?
The only other action set piece is that scene on the bridge, and they caused that traffic accident.
They
like,
did. The thing.
They don't help anyone.
No.
Yet everyone loves them. The public adores them, which drives me crazy.
I wrote that down in my notes that it was like, holy there's just a lot of crowds just standing around.
Yeah, they're so famous.
And I don't understand. I guess we can go to the thing next. I don't understand how the public seems to be like, we love the Fantastic Four, but really only 3 of them. We're still fearful of the Rock Man.
Yeah, everyone's like, ew, he's gross.
We really, I can't
Yeah.
wait to talk about The Thing. I wrote a lot of
Yes.
notes about The Thing because
Yeah.
he was very
Mhm.
much a driving, like, huge plot line of just being like, what is that?
Mhm.
And like, it felt really bad for him too. Like,
Yeah, it was fucked up.
It was really
Remember-
fucked up.
Remember how he goes to see his wife and she screams bloody murder?
Did you see who his wife was?
Who's his wife?
I know. What's her name? I've seen her in other things.
She's she plays the love interest in Dumb and Dumber. She's like the main what? Oh my god, what is her name?
Is it Laurie
Whatever.
Holden?
That could be it.
What a career.
You could have said any name. I would have been like, yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah. I think because Debbie's the name of the wife, right?
Yeah, Debs.
Debs. Yeah.
Debs.
So that's Laurie Holden.
Oh,
She's in The Boys
hilarious.
currently.
In the what?
The Boys on Amazon.
Oh, I watched that.
I don't watch that. I don't know who she is, but I loved how she first of all she's in this negligee. She comes out of her like, "Where's my husband?"
Iconic.
There was a welcome home banner
Mhm.
outside the building. I was like, how'd she get up there? Like on the scaffolding. It was like
She was like, "I got to do
very
this for my husband."
aggressive.
I just can't
Yeah,
believe
there's like 40
married
people live in
him.
that building, and they're like, okay, one guy's coming home.
And then my favorite thing about Debbie, she's honestly my favorite character in this whole movie. She's watching the news. She sees the Fantastic Four on a bridge. She's like, I know what to do. She gets in her car, goes through New York traffic
Yes.
to get up there, sees Ben, goes,
Yes.
don't come near me, takes up the wing, doesn't drop it, just bends over and puts it on the
ground.
places it on the bridge.
And leaves.
All because he's a rock now?
Yeah. Like,
I'm like, dude.
I mean,
girl is shallow.
Yeah.
She should have been in Shallow Hal
Seriously,
after Dumb and
go off.
Dumber.
That's
Yeah.
it. I mean, I'll say this. Michael Chiklis, pre-rock, I'm into it. I'm into that look. I'm like,
Good looking guy.
good looking man, handsome man. So I'm like, I understand she's losing the Chiklis and she's getting, the chiseled, literally chiseled rock.
Mhm.
But that's you married him. Like there's nothing else. It was just his looks.
Honestly, if that's going to fall apart as quick as it did, then that marriage should not have even happened in the first place.
Exactly.
Yeah.
God.
This
Wow.
is a
She
relationship podcast.
Mhm.
She ain't loyal.
Mm-mm.
So apparently who is loyal is Alice, played by Kerry Washington. Elizabeth, you are a resident expert on blindness in superhero films, whether you like it or not.
I've officially become one.
I mean, well, actually, it's open for anybody. How did we feel seeing Kerry Washington?
I was excited. I was like, oh, thank God. It was a breath of fresh air. But then when she gets up and touches him, I cackle laugh at how she
Same.
began at his chest.
Yeah.
Yes.
Of course. With
And
them
then
things.
went up to his face. And instead of the classic delicate touching,
Mhm.
she's full on hand pawing.
If
his
I
face.
may,
Yes.
my note
please.
here is so sexual when she's touching the rock guy face.
Mhm.
He's
She's like-
he's literally, pardon me, but he's literally going, oh, 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 oh.
Full on pawing his face with both
Yeah.
hands too.
Like on his eyeball, and he's going,
Like finally, Rock is getting some
I am rock.
touch.
Yeah.
I am rock. He's rock hard.
Also, side note, why can't this guy hold any cups? He's doing everything else. He's putting his hat on. He's putting on his jacket. He can't hold the glass.
cups.
No.
Also, my favorite bit, I noticed it in my second rewatch, was when he has the bag of oranges and he squeezes the entire bag to squirt out juice.
Yes.
The gags are funny. Michael
The
Yeah,
Chicken
good
gags?
gags.
I laughed when they were doing experiments on him and they grabbed the hammer and they do the reflex on his knee and he's kicked that chair into the sky. I was like,
Yeah.
that's funny. I was like, that's just good old fashioned comedy. They really
Yeah,
knew
we
when
love
the
it.
comedy needed to land.
Although
I think that's all they wrote was the comedy, and then
Yeah.
they filled in the rest around the
you're
bits.
They did a Mad Libs for the rest of this.
Yeah.
for the thing. Okay, I think the biggest question for the thing, after Victor Von Doom turns him back into Michael Chiklis,
Yeah.
would you I mean, if that was you, Mike or Elizabeth, would you have gone back to the Thing to help out the Fantastic Four? Which would have been just been the thrilling three at that point.
I would have.
You would have gone back to Rock?
Yeah.
Do you want to be a Rock, I think, is the real question here. And
I think it's wild that he just, I feel like, because it was such a fluke accident, that space cloud, that when he goes into the machine, it's, oh, you're Rock. Like, well,
here's the thing, though.
Like, he doesn't turn into anything else.
Maybe I missed this. What? He's an astronaut? Is that what he does?
I'm not. He works
because I was like, whether I want to become Rock again or not, I don't know how to work this machine. I'm not just going to walk up in here and start pressing buttons. What if I turn into less of a Rock, a little mini Rock? You know what I'm saying?
That would be an even better story.
Yeah,
it's just like a
little mini Rock walking around.
Or like the Rock from Everything Everywhere All at Once with the googly eyes on it.
Yeah.
Shows up to fight.
So cute.
But yeah, so I think the description on Disney Plus says these are 4 astronauts, which I'm like...
okay, they're all astronauts. Sure.
Apparently.
Okay.
But I think he's more on the piloting flight side and Reed is the scientist.
Right, okay.
Yes, because they do. Yes,
but that's why he was mad that the other guy was going to have to be the commander or whatever.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
And we're going to get to that guy. And even though we can't see her, we have not forgotten her. We're going to talk to the Invisible Woman. That's all coming up once we take a hot little break. So keep it right here. Podcast 616 is still talking about Fantastic Four all month. Isaac Snyder, I hope you're happy. We'll be right back.
Hello, Brooks here with the Books with Brooks monthly book club podcast. Here's how Books with Brooks works. We read one book a month, and then we talk about it. Classics like Stephen King's The Shining, debut novels like We Are the Brennans by Tracy Lang, and tons of other compelling, life-changing stories, one book and 1 month at a time. So come read along with us, and then listen in.
Welcome, everyone, to Podcast 616, the official podcast of Earth 616. I am your host, Damon Royster, and I am inviting you to listen and subscribe to this Marvel Cinematic Universe podcast. On Podcast 616, we gather some of today's greatest comedians, writers, and actors to dive deep into all things Marvel, like comic book history and lore, all the interconnected superhero storylines, and of course, who's hot and who's not in the MCU. Honestly, why aren't you listening right now? You have the power to listen to Podcast 616. And as we always say, with great power comes even greater responsibility. Listen and subscribe to Podcast 616 wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey everyone, this is Don Mike Mendoza, the host of Producing While Asian. Join us in Season 2 for more conversations with actors, artists, producers, and more from Broadway, Hollywood, and beyond, every other Wednesday on the Press Play Podcast Network.
And we're back. Everybody, we're back with more Podcast 616. I mean, let's save her for the end. I feel like I have a lot of things to say about Jessica Alba. Let me talk about...
I have thoughts.
And okay, we're gonna go to Johnny Storm, which I think is a perfectly fine superhero name. I don't know why he has to be the Human Torch. I think Johnny Storm is a kick-ass name. And as Elizabeth knows, I have terrible taste in men. I think this is a perfect man. Not to give away my fuck, marry, kill, but I have no notes. I wish I was Maria Menounos. Wish he asked permission before he kissed her. That was a little weird to kiss someone he just met.
It was definitely 2005 energy.
100%.
Yeah, like I'm a hottie doing whatever I want. Women
he was Tony Hawk.
this.
Freaking yeah.
He was what? Tony
He
Hawk?
was Tony Hawk, just
Tony,
like cheating on his wife, doing his thing, and no one's gonna bat an eye.
Yeah. What happened?
Grab the rock star girls and go back to your trailer. You know what I'm saying?
100.
Yeah, what happened to that woman in the beginning when he was on the motorcycle and she was in the convertible and like they were kissing while they were driving? And who was that?
So I don't know, but very dangerous.
Yeah.
He was way too close to the car.
Also, where was she driving? Because the road was only going towards the space shuttle.
Yeah,
have fun on
she
your
ain't
rocket
allowed
mission.
to be out there. I wrote a note about this character. I said I love the idea that the most stereotypical like straight male having a catchphrase that is flame on.
justice. I call that justice.
Yeah,
Justice.
pretty good. And him having to scream it at the top of his lungs before he can shoot off into the sky.
That is beautiful. I love that observation.
I mean, he's literally flaming.
Yeah.
What else can we say?
Oh, I love the nicknames that the thing and the torch do to each other. Though, like he calls him Mr. Pebbles, and then he'll call him Flame Boy. And I'm loving this banter.
Yeah.
They're so. I love. I don't know. I feel like Michael Chiklis was coming alive dealing with Chris Evans because I think anyone who did a scene with Chris Evans had a good scene.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah.
He was really, so good.
He was actually like on point.
Or was the movie so bad that he was just sort of baseline and then, you know what I mean? It was like, oh, this is what movies should feel like when he's acting, you know?
Because he was giving me, did you guys watch Scott Pilgrim versus the World? He's in there for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, a while ago.
Yeah, I mean.
Because there was a moment, it went from Dr. Doom and Stringy Guy to a Chris Evans scene, and I had that feeling. Like I went from being like, oh my god, these actors, like, is this how good you had to be in 2005 to like be the lead in a Hollywood movie? I was like, dang, maybe I will work more. And then it cuts to Chris Evans and I was like, oh, there you go. I was like, this guy's he's good. This is what a movie should feel like. That's
Captain America.
Yeah.
And also it's just nice to see someone who gets superpowers and they're like, yes, I want to do this. Like, this is cool.
Yeah,
like,
he was the only one, like we were saying, Mike was saying earlier, that like was actually like, let's just go. Let's do it. Let's be superheroes now. But the rest of them were like, no, we gotta figure out what's going on with our bodies first.
And he's like, dude, I can fly. Let's go fly. You're a rock. Go smash something.
You're a fucking rock, dude.
Yeah, like rock off and you can go be invisible and you can, I don't know, make spaghetti or whatever.
Yeah. Make spaghetti fingers.
Yeah.
And I think it's so dumb how everyone was like, no, don't look at, especially Invisible Woman, like, don't look at me. I don't want to be famous. Like, bitch, you are on camera. Like, everyone knows. You can't go back. Like this era pre-social media where they're like, oh, we'll just cure ourselves and then no one will talk about us ever again. Like, you are forever the Fantastic Four. Like, it's documented.
I like the part when the rock guy turns around. He goes, I remember he's asking him, but he's like they're walking down the street and he's like, what's wrong? What is it? It's not you. It's them. He turns around and screams at all the like press.
And once again, a crowd of people just following them around.
Yeah. I was like, calm down, man. Kanye West energy.
Were you going to say something, Damon, about Scott Pilgrim versus the World?
Oh, just Chris Evans is in it, and he gives like the same energy. We're starting the movie over again behind me.
Yeah, let's go.
Incredible. On loop all day.
On loop all day, baby. All month. So yeah, Human Torch. You know, I'm jealous of Maria Menounos, and yeah, I was gonna say, remember how much obsession our culture had with like snowboarding and motocross?
Dude, the X Games stuff. Yeah, I mean, it was like no wonder I like thought at one point in my childhood I could be a pro skateboarder one day. Like this was all that was on TV, and like it was like watching Tony Hawk had just done the 900 maybe a year earlier, if not that year.
900 what?
Let me just fill you in. So skateboarding had a massive progression in like mainstream. So like skateboarding had been around since like the 70s, right? And it was kind of like would come in and out of the mainstream. Just quick backstory. And then in the 90s, it was like, whoa, skateboarding is like cool, but like pro skateboarders still weren't like famous, like you know what I mean, like buying houses. And then Tony Hawk did the 900 on the X Games, and then it was like pro skateboarders can be like LeBron James now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What's a 900?
So a 900 is on a ramp. You're doing this.
Michael knows.
And it's
producer Michael's doing a little loops motion.
Yeah. So there was, I think it was like people were doing 540s, 720s, and then a 900 was like 2.5 full rotations in the air and then back onto the ramp.
Oh wow! Oh my!
It was groundbreaking.
God.
It was groundbreaking. It like,
I mean, made
no one had even come
man.
close. Yeah.
I mean,
but he did it like prime time on national TV. It was a huge deal. And then to see this movie, it's like, oh, Hollywood's just like literally hammering this in to like literally hook a kid like me in high school who's like, yeah, skateboarding and extreme sports. Give me a Red Bull.
Hollywood,
You know?
man.
Especially,
Don't
yeah,
get
especially.
in
I want to have
this-
sex with girls too. Come on, please.
Flame
Oh,
on!
why
Flame
they all
on!
turn me down? If only I
You're
could
just
be a
screaming,
snowboarder.
flame on.
Ah, I'm so horny.
It is the personification of a teenage boy. You're so
Yeah.
horny and hot that you want to just
Yeah.
burst into flames,
Yeah.
Exactly.
doing
You have
anything.
nowhere to put this energy because I'm never going to do 900. I'm never
Yeah.
going to have sex with a woman who wants to. This sucks.
Well, we'll
Full-
be praying for you, Mike.
Thanks.
All right.
Yeah.
How's your girlfriend doing?
Yeah.
She's okay. I think she's annoyed that I'm being so loud. She had a flight from New York late last night.
Damn.
When
Well,
was motocross? When that Disney Channel?
Oh.
movie?
You mean
Oh.
motocrossed?
Yeah, motocrossed.
Yeah.
Yeah, Disney Channel.
Had to
I
be
wonder if that
2001.
came out around that time.
It definitely
Disney's
was
to blame for a lot of this energy because, like,
Yeah.
there was Johnny Tsunami, which was like surfer snowboarder kid, you know, and it was like
Yes,
It was
extreme
huge.
sports.
And then
you're
Brink.
so right.
the,
Come
like,
on,
pro
Brink.
roller
I love
you know what I
Brink.
mean?
When I got
They
when I
had
got
us
Disney Plus,
obsessed
that was the
with,
first thing I
like,
watched.
It was like I don't have to like my dad's sports like baseball. It was like
Mhm.
I can be a snowboarder, you know?
Hell
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
I wanna bring the mood down
Yeah.
and talk about the Invisible Woman.
Yeah.
Elizabeth, I know you hate when I ask you questions about women, but
I do. I hate it.
you are the only woman on this call. You have to speak about
It did
Jessica Alba.
It did bother me that it was like the woman has to go invisible, and she also has to be emotional when she does it. I was like,
Mhm.
okay, guys, but also just like hilarious. That she also had to take her clothes off too. All of that.
Egregious. Yeah.
When they were on the bridge, once again, the most convoluted storyline was like, why did she have to get naked
Yeah. Why?
Mhm.
at all? Like at
No.
all? 'Cause
Where was she
like,
sneaking
walks-
to?
Yeah, she walks across, and then they're on the other side waiting for her.
Yeah. What was so sneaky about that?
What was that
They
about?
do.
We needed to
And-
see her bra outline. That was like
Mhm.
it was
It-
for me. It was for that same horny kid. That's what it
for
was.
you.
It was
Yeah.
like, whoa,
It's-
I've had a crush on Jessica Alba forever.
Mhm.
She's in her bra. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
And I
I'm
don't-
gonna come.
I don't know this
Oh,
for
I'm
a
sitting
fact.
next to my mom in the movie theater. Oh no.
Oh no, I'm flaming on right now. So I don't know this for a fact,
Flame
but I could imagine there's a Hollywood executive conversation that happened in 2004, 2005 of like,
Mhm.
yeah, let's get the hottest woman in America to play the Invisible Woman. Like, I feel like someone thought that was an interesting idea, but she's
Well, the
just,
thing. Oh, go ahead.
please. Well, I mean, she's
No,
just hot
yeah.
girl
What
with
to say
glasses.
about her though?
Well, I had a thought that was and still do view Jessica Alba as she's Hispanic, right?
Mm.
If I'm not wrong, I think she's Mexican, and they really turned her into like a white woman in this movie. Like her hair is like always like blonde.
Yeah.
She
And,
has
like, it just-
contacts.
Yeah, and I was like, what is this?
Ugh, that's
I, like,
another
didn't understand it.
2005 movie.
Yeah, it
too,
was, like,
right?
Right, it was like look like a pretty hot white woman, and I was like,
Mhm.
what is going on here? And the
Like,
whole
this is the
movie,
ideal. This is the ideal.
Yes.
And it's like, no,
Yeah.
it's not. Ugh.
like, look at that, turn around, look at that white lady on the screen back there, Damon. Do you know what
This
I'm
is why we have the
saying?
movie. Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah.
That one was just weird to watch, and I was like, I hated that it was really actually annoying me the whole time. I was like, why?
Mhm.
Why? And then she'd
Yeah.
come into the scene sometimes and like her like, and just so like what a like blonde kind of like thought it like I wrote something down, whatever. Yeah, it was like white Valley Girl energy.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And she really transported me. She really, as a woman who did live 2000 through 2005, I
Yeah,
was like,
through it.
wow, this is really sending me back. Like when she's wearing her glasses, like those
Mhm.
thin glasses.
Mm-hmm.
The thin,
then-
not too thick.
Yeah, not too thick, perfect thin. My sister literally had those glasses. Like, and then her hair styles at one point, it was whenever her hair is down, it looks like she's wearing a wig. It was like her
I think she
part-
was in a wig sometimes.
Yeah, it was like her part. I wrote, where does her part end and her bangs begin? Like it's like the wig, it's like a metal like wig on top of and then also
Mhm.
I felt like she did a lot of Because what can you do as a woman in Hollywood at that time? Who knows if she really like wanted to unzip her thing a little more and show her cleavage. But then the thing that she did that I was like, you probably had control over this, and I didn't like, was like how much she made like fate, like when like her little, she would make little noises and like little sexy faces that I was like, stop it, what are you doing?
That's the movies during that era just kind of did that, like any opportunity to make like a I can do my sounds again, it's like or like oh, it's like why is it so like why are you trying to make me horny right now?
I'm sorry, Damon, but I just anytime she used her powers, it was like she'll go
yeah, it's like it's always the hardest thing she's ever done to use her superpowers.
She's climaxing.
And then when she was done climaxing, the way her body would like just kind of slump a little, it was like, it's like she's like had the tiniest little orgasm and then was like sleepy after.
I'm gonna take a little cat nap now.
It was like so bizarro.
I mean, I was gonna say, I mean, the problem is from the origin, because I feel like women in comics are drawn very sexily and very like male gazy, with like tits out, that curvy like, you know, hand on their hips, and like their ass is all the way to the left and the top of their body is all the way to the right, very S shaped. And I think
I gotta tell you, as a woman, you can't do it. Yeah, I've tried.
No one stands like that.
And
I feel like when they're trying to make these movies, they're like, well, we have to honor what's in the books, and so they're trying to justify these.
Yeah, they're probably torn between like, that is true.
So it's like,
especially at that time, because like we didn't, there wasn't movies yet. There weren't these Marvel movies yet.
Right.
I think that's the other thing I kept thinking the whole time. I was like, man, we just really didn't know where these movies were going to go yet. Like, you know, this was just so. Yes.
I'm just like reading over my notes. I want to go back to the Thing and how his pants would fit when he went from being the Rock to being a human.
Yeah.
His pants still fit. And I was like, what are the physics on that?
I wanted to see Michael Chiklis' cute little butt.
Yeah.
What was that?
Oh, I had
the Shield. Sorry.
Yeah, he's on the Shield. Is that what he's on?
Yeah, I feel like
I was trying to remember. I was like SVU or something.
No, it was the Shield. He was like a crooked cop. I think it was a good dad show. My dad loved it.
I think the most iconic line, and I know you guys are all going to agree.
I have an iconic line, but please.
Is when they kiss and she goes, "That's my nose, genius."
Oh my God.
My
lips.
I
almost wrote that down.
Wow.
These are my lips.
These are my lips. I have another line that I enjoy. I love that one. Another line I wrote down was Dr. Doom's assistant, who we haven't talked about. I forget his name, but he just has this line. It's like when they're on the bridge and he's at his office and his assistant goes, "Sir, Larry King just canceled. Apparently, apparently there's a bigger story."
Why did they make that character so like snooty, like Harvard? So, like, it was like,
I was think like he did that. He was like, I'm gonna I have one line.
Yeah, that's how he booked it. He's like, "Wow, look at this guy."
Ooh, what if I slithered?
Yeah.
I wrote a thing here that says this movie really made me hate the time I spent my senior year and what the culture was like. It was so ugly and lame.
Damn, you really went to a dark place.
Yeah, I was like, because like, you know, the 80s, you think of the 80s and like the mid 2000s, man, is just like, this is just the OC and Fantastic Four. This is all we had.
It's so much chrome and silver and like
metal, it's like,
and like
the hair, the blonde dyed like streaks.
Yeah.
It was PacSun's fault. I think that's what it was. PacSun took over the country, and everyone started dressing like they
for a hot
lived.
second.
Yeah, in Laguna Beach.
You all,
the United States of
were
PacSun.
shopping at PacSun because I was sure shopping at
I literally bought this hat there. It's been It's been with me since.
Oh, and during that time too, PacSun was always like, it had like those like monkeys, like the like Frank monkey and like animal. It had a lot of animal like and sport attire.
I had a personal issue with PacSun because grew up surfing. I've been surfing since I was 6, and so when I was a little kid, like nobody knew what Billabong was. You know, I'd go to school wearing like a Quicksilver shirt, and I remember my friend was like, "What's Quicksilver?" And I was like, "Oh, it's like surfing thing." And then PacSun came out, and now all the football players are wearing Billabong t-shirts, and I'm like, "You don't even surf. What is this?" You know,
I would be pissed. Yeah. They were coming for your culture, man.
Yeah, man. Exactly.
Yeah. Same thing happened to me. I remember when I was in middle school, I wore a pair of Vans, and these actual skateboarders were like, "You fucking poser, you don't board." I threw the shoes away. I was like, I don't want to go through this ever again.
So yeah, my first pair of Vans, I was in like 6th or 7th grade, and the like cool kids called them clown shoes. They're like, "Look at your clown shoes," because they were like high top, you know, half cabs. And then here we are 4 years later. Now everybody's wearing Vans, rappers wearing Vans, everybody's cool.
Even clowns wear Vans.
These are my first Vans. I got them at a Goodwill.
Those clown shoes.
Clown shoes.
Clown. Yeah. Are there any more final thoughts about Fantastic Four or thoughts about 2005? A lot of ad space.
I mean, I have a lot of thoughts about 2005, but
yeah.
I made a note here about Jessica Alba's character because he goes, it had been 10 years since they dated. And I'm like, how old was Jessica Alba, though? Like in her mid-20s? So this girl was 15 when y'all were dating? Hang on.
It's unclear.
Well, I guess, yeah, they definitely allude that they were like kids. They grew up together.
Did they allude to that?
Yeah, she was looking through a scrapbook in her robe.
Okay, good. Thank God.
Wet, like, and then Victor comes in and she's like, and he's like, "Hey, baby."
Oh, right.
Like, "I'm sorry I haven't called since the blast." She doesn't say that, but she should have said
since
that.
The blast.
The blast is happening.
It's happening right here on the screen. Yeah, they definitely try to make this like, oh, this is like Friends, where like they were all college buddies, and this is Sue's little brother Johnny, which I am grateful that they made Chris Evans so hot and Jessica Alba so sexualized, but they also built in that they were siblings, so we didn't have to see.
That's it. That's why they whited her up.
Oh, yeah.
So that she could be more.
Yeah, that's probably why.
Do you think that the two of them doinked while doing the show? Because they were the hottest people on set.
Evans and Alba?
I hope.
And then I was like, that's gotta be weird as actors when you're like attracted to your brother. But
I mean, that actually, wild to bring this up, but that the TV show Parenthood, Lauren Graham and Peter Krause, they actually, I think they just broke up, but they were dating.
Wait, what?
I think they broke up. I'm so sorry to tell you.
Were they brother and sisters on the show?
On Parenthood, yeah. And that's where they met. So they met playing brother and sister, and they began a relationship from that.
Oh,
interesting.
So sad.
Look, it's they're just acting.
They're just acting.
It's not real, Damon. You know that, right? They weren't really brother and sister.
I can't hear that. I think it's real. And you know what else is real? Fuck, marry, kill. Woo! It's that time. Yeah. We have a special treat for Fantastic Four. I have given my guests permission to choose any of the four. They can only choose the four members, but one will be left out. One will be fucked. One will be married. One will be killed. So our choices are The Thing, the Invisible Woman, Mr. Fantastic, or the Human Torch, aka Johnny Storm. I will go first to give my guests time to think. Much like this film, I will leave out the Invisible Woman. I'm not going to be dealing with that. No, thank you. For my kill, I will kill Mr. Fantastic, and I'm going to kill him just like he was killed in Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, when the Scarlet Witch ripped him to shreds and turned him into just silly string. It was great. He was John Krasinski in that movie, but for now, I'm going to destroy this man. I hate his powers. Also, remember that part in the movie where like Chris Evans is like, "Oh, you got a little bit of gray hair," and you can barely see the gray on his sides.
And then it just like kind of disappeared in and out. It came in when it
he kind of inconsistent gray hair. Yeah. As someone who has gray hair in that spot, I was very offended.
Yeah. Same. So I'm killing him. I'm going to fuck the Thing.
Just the way you said that. It's like you surprised yourself.
I mean, I was like going to put up a fight. No, I'm going to do when he's Michael Chiklis when he's not a rock. But I was like, I should honor that he is mostly a rock for the majority of this film. So I'm gonna do it. I'll make sure to bring some lotion because I'm sure there'll be a lot of friction. Also,
Chafing.
how does Kerry Washington do it? They have the scene where he can't get on the elevator because it's too large. Yet he's having I assume, sexual relationship with this blind woman.
Well, maybe they just do butt,
Hey, man.
like
Yeah,
stuff in
toys.
each other's butts or something. I don't know.
A lot of
She eats
a lot
his
of role
ass?
playing.
She's in that rock butt.
Maybe.
Is his tongue a rock?
Couldn't be
Also,
me.
yeah, where are his ears? Chris
Oh, no,
Evans asked that.
His organs are rocks. They said at one point.
Oh yeah.
So is his sperm little pebbles?
You know what? I'll find out for you. Ping, 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 ping. And I'm gonna marry the Human Torch. I don't care. Look at this man on my screen. Look at that.
Wow.
I want to be. This is the perfect scene for this. I want to be Marina Menounos in this moment, and he can flame on all night long for me. I will get flame retardant bed sheets, and we'll go to town, like a lot of fire blankets.
Yeah, a water bed.
A water bed just in case.
Keep a fire extinguisher in the drawer.
Yeah.
That's your protection instead of.
Let's go to our Elizabeth Andrews. I'm going to go to you next. You've done this so many times. You're an expert. Show Mike how it's done. Please, who are your picks?
I'm going to marry the thing. I want a solid relationship. I want him to carry me around. I want him to make me laugh every time he tries to pick up a cup. I think that he would be such a good partner. He's a good listener and he cares. And then you know what? I'm going to kind of break all the rules here a little bit. I'm going to have sex with the brother and sister. We're going to have a threesome.
Whoa.
Yeah.
You would do that freaky shit. Wow.
I would do that freaky shit. I'd be like, hey guys, what do you think? Yeah, because come on, let's do it.
Well, if she's invisible, he wouldn't have to see her. So
yeah, she could be, invisible and he can be on fire and I can be the human. Right in between that scene.
It can go from a threesome to not because she can just go hide for a second,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Be like, you can stand over there for a little bit.
This is getting to be too much. Could you go away?
Yeah, take a break.
Come back.
Come back. I need you. Flame on, off. And then I do feel bad for Mr. Fantastic. I did consider for a second. I was like, oh well, like maybe his penis can grow like really long, and I was like, I could have sex with him in another room. He could be in one room and I could be in the other.
Yeah, you don't even really need to deal with his energy. Just give me that big long stringy.
But is that your choice or what are you doing?
No, I was like, oh, this could be good for marriage, but then I was like, nah. So he's dead. We'll kill him. So those are mine.
Lovely. Mike Aviles, fuck, marry, kill. What are you thinking?
I'm kind of similar with Elizabeth here. I'm definitely marrying the thing guy. Like hands. Wow. I mean, didn't even have to think about it. That guy, right? He could build me a house. Like he's making it through the apocalypse. You know what I'm saying? Nothing's. We're gonna be good. We're gonna be living out on. Yeah.
Giving up on this.
And he's loyal. You know what I mean? He is loyal. He would forgive me. Like he'd take me back always. Yeah. The ball would always be in my court. I could just take the ring off and put it down slowly and
he wouldn't be able to pick it up.
He wouldn't fight me on it, right? Damn. He would just kind of be sad. And then he'd probably take me back, It just I'd maintain control in this relationship. It'd be great. Mm-hmm. And then this one was tricky because the horny straight teenager in me really wants to have sex with Jessica Alba. But Chris Evans is a good time. Like the flame guy, because it's not Chris Evans, right? It's this guy. I'm trying to. He's taking me to snowboarding events. I'm gonna meet Tony Hawk.
Easy.
You know what I'm saying? We're gonna have orgies. It's gonna be wild. You know what I mean?
Fine. Yeah.
Women are just gonna be throwing themselves at us, and we're gonna be pouring energy drinks on them. It's gonna be amazing.
So wait, you're gonna fuck the Johnny Storm to hopefully fuck others? No,
that's just like a perk.
Okay.
I'm saying he's gonna be a good lay, and it's gonna be fun. We're gonna party. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to marry the person you want to party with. You know what I mean? You just want to party sometimes, right? It's he's the fun hookup. It's whoa, that was a crazy night. We got fucked up. We had a wild orgy. Now I got to go back to the wife.
Gotta go back.
Gotta
to
go back to the rock. The thing.
That thing.
Yeah.
They're like, don't call your wife that, and he's like, no, it really is.
It's
the
thing.
And then kill was tough because I'm like, well, I think because I had the thought about stringy guy too. I was like, women probably would love this guy, right? Like he can move all kinds of stretchy, thingy, pointy things to go in and out of things. Like women like that sometimes, right? I don't know. I'm still figuring out what women like.
Yeah.
But so I was like, well, and he's kind of like smart, and maybe he could make like me another rock if my rock guy dies. And so, yeah, I think I'm gonna kill Invisible Lady because she's already half dead, invisible. It's okay.
Oh, I thought you meant spiritually. She's half dead.
Oh yeah, well that too, probably after this movie. But yeah, that's I'd kill. And then he can that other weird string guy can be out in the world, kind of like, no, we need to fix everything. Okay,
just
sure.
Slurping around corners.
Yeah, go invent something. Sure.
Don't miscalculate something over there.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Go string yourself again. Whatever.
Also, am I remembering this correctly? This whole thing is his fault, right? He miscalculated the giant storm.
Absolutely. By 9 hours, the guy was off.
9 hours.
Are you kidding me? What a miscalculation.
He's such an idiot.
What was he doing it in metric or something? Like,
yeah, get his ass.
Jesus.
Mr. Fantastic? I doubt it. A wonderful fuck, marry, kill for all of us. Thank you both so much. This is Fantastic Four. Elizabeth Andrews, if we wanted to find you online or anything you want to promote, what's going on in your life? What's up?
Hey, well, if you do want to find me, you can find me on the line at It's Your Manager. And I have my own podcast that I do with some other Chicago comedians called Sitcom D&D, and you can listen to any of those wherever you listen to podcasts. It's like an infusion of sitcom and Dungeons and Dragons. And yeah, I thank you so much for having me on. I love that to be a third timer. This is fantastic. I had a great time.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Fantastic third time.
Fantastic third time. We got to have you on a fourth time to make it complete. Mike Aviles, where can we find you? What are you doing? Where are you drumming?
What am I doing? Where am I drumming? I'm drumming in my office alone.
Trying to figure out women.
Yes. Oh God.
Reading books and books.
It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
I think about it all the time. You can find me on the Instagram. Instagram's really all I use. Twitter's too mean and sad. At Aviles Mike, Aviles Mike. Yeah, I don't know. I'm acting. So like if there's any casting directors listening that are looking for the next flame on, straight guy wanting to be flamey, call me up.
They listen.
Yes, watch my reel. No, I have a film coming out this year, which I'm excited about, called Don't Shoot the Messenger. It's a World War II rom-com. It's gonna be cool.
Is anyone else in that movie?
Yeah. What do you mean? Oh, anyone? I can't think of anybody else. Who else? Damon! You're in that movie, and you're so good in it. Truly, You're like the comic relief. It's awesome.
Oh, wait, sorry, you've seen it?
Spoilers. Oh, I've seen it. Your jokes land. Don't worry. It's gonna be great. So I can't wait for everyone to see it. No, Damon rocks in that movie. But
thank you.
And then I also play music. So twin_music_. We have some songs out. We play some shows around LA from time to time. I'm making my own album.
So good.
Yeah. How's that coming?
It's coming along. It should be out probably maybe late this year, probably early next year. But it's called Beach Breaks. It's gonna be fun.
Beach Breaks. And you surfed? Oh my gosh.
And I surfed. My headphone fell out.
He does it all.
Does it all. Even loses headphones. Amazing.
Yep.
Thank you so much. You can follow this podcast on Instagram at podcast616P3. That P3 stands for Press Play Podcast, our podcasting network that allows me to do Fantastic Four all month long. And I did not ask permission, so hopefully they're cool with this. You can also follow me at Damon Royster on Instagram, DaymanRoyster. Producer Michael, if you want to hop on the mic real quick, what letter grade would you give this podcast episode?
Ooh. This has become one of my favorite episodes so far. Not gonna lie, yeah. So I'll give it a S tier episode. S tier.
S tier. S tier. Okay.
What does that mean?
What does that
You
mean?
don't know? You guys don't know what S tier is?
No, we're
Teach
not
us.
cool.
Oh my god. Well, it's basically like an A, pretty much, but like it's above
Okay.
an A.
Above an A.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's an A++.
There's- Oh my gosh, there's a
pretty much,
space
yeah.
above the A. I love that.
yeah.
Yes. Thank you. You guys keep my GPA up. Thank you so much. Okay. Thank you, producer Michael. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Elizabeth, 3-timer. And thank you, listener, for listening. We'll be back next week with Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer. I'm gonna keep going
My God,
into
you're
the
brave.
depths of hell.
I think I'm just gonna watch it regardless.
I kind of I'm gonna wake up at 4 a.m. and watch Silver
Yeah.
Surfer.
If you're up
Yeah,
at 4
text me,
a.m.,
I'll watch with you.
please watch this movie. All right. So until next time, please remember that with great power, oh boy, there comes even greater responsibility.